question is, because the state of the world right now is very scary. There were two shootings yesterday in the city where I live. And just I was, enjoying the fireworks, and then, I found out that happened in another area with the fireworks, and it was just like very scary. My
Hmm.
question is how to keep up this great energy when there's things around that are very terrifying that, are beyond our control.
It's a great question. So, there are scary things around. There are also incredibly beautiful things around. And when we have built a momentum where we are used to observing the scary things seem like they outweigh the beautiful things, but they don't. So, being aware of what's going on oftentimes for people feels like a duty to be socially aware. But if we believe in law of attraction, which you are free to believe or not believe in law of attraction, then we have to at all times ask ourselves, is my awareness and attention creating energy that is helping the situations or not? Because a lot of the times the attention to the problems suck us into the energy of the problems, and then it makes us more aware of the problems and more aware of the problems and more aware of the problems. So if that's what's going on and you're feeling that heaviness of problems and worry and wanting, we have to approach it like anything else, which means we feel the worry and we feel upset because what we really want is something more beautiful. And the discomfort is the feeling between having and not having. However, most people get caught up in and stay in the energetic area of not having. So they stay in the energy of the problem. And they kind of think they have to because there's kind of a weird guilt thing that goes on if we just straight up don't give the problems our energy. However, again, we have to ask ourselves, is my attention to this enabling me to put beautiful energy into the world or worry energy to the world? Because we confuse worrying with being concerned and thinking that that worry is necessary to help. But that logic doesn't hold up with law of attraction. The logic in law of attraction is if we want something better, we have to be able to create that energy. If there is a problem and we want to be part of that solution, we have to be able to look at that problem without our energy wavering, because that's the only way we can actually see real solutions to that problem. But here's what happens is people start wanting to do that before they've spent substantial time practicing this skill in their daily life. So, if how are you when somebody screws up your coffee order? Okay, like that's a valid question. Like, is our energy bothered or not? Because if we can't even control our energy when our coffee order is screwed up, or when there's traffic, or when a neighbor gives us a weird look, or when the dog, digs holes in the yard, if we can't even control our energy in little things, then how are we supposed to be on the solution oriented wavelength to big things? So I don't want to invite you to ignore problems to never be part of the solution. But I want you to, at first, start building the skill to control your energy so you have that skill if, in case, you do want to be solution oriented on bigger things. So what I would invite you to do is know the difference between being aware of something and being attached to it. Because when we are aware of something without being attached, we can see it without taking on its energy. And so that would be the practice of being aware. Okay, I couldn't help but hear that this happened, and I can be aware of it, and we can check in. Do I want something different? Am I capable of being part of the solution right now? And if the answer is no, that is okay, because when you go home, when you show up here, you are working on the skill that will eventually help you be solution oriented, which means being able to be aware of problems, not have your energy dip, and be able to work on those solutions. Does that help as kind of a starter?
Yes, yeah, that was very helpful. I appreciate you going through all that because that makes a lot of sense. Because I was thinking about it yesterday, feeling so great and everything, and then yeah, like people were talking about it and concerned for like our friend group, and so it just I was like, well, how do I keep this up, in the face of these serious issues and when everyone around me is talking about it constantly. So that's very helpful. So I'll
Great.
just keep doing what I'm doing and work on not getting like
Yeah, it's okay to
attached.
bow out of that conversation, right? It's okay to not participate. It's okay to try to leave if you can. And if you can't, it's okay to be there and not talk and observe or nod your head. And on the inside, talk yourself through it. Like, I understand this, but if I join them in the worry, it is literally the problem succeeding over me too. And I cannot allow that. So I want to define, I want more beauty in this world. I want more smiles in this world. I want more well-being. And in order to contribute to that, I have to be a shining example. And this is where it's beautiful, where helping the world is the same thing as helping ourselves, primarily at first. Because let's say that you have 5 friends and they all want to chitty chat about this, right? And then you kind of start acting a little differently. You don't join in on that conversation. You don't talk about the injustices. You don't bury yourself, right? And now all of a sudden, you're kind of going through life and you're kind of doing better. You're kind of thriving. Can you imagine the beauty if one of your friends notices and one of your friends gets into this with you? That means you have contributed to a whole person perhaps also being removed from the problem's energy. So there is no exception to the rule with law of attraction that we are manifesting whatever we are feeling. There's no exception. And this might feel weird because we just spent our whole lives like feeling justified and worrying about problems. But if you're one of those people where you're like, God, deep down inside, I really feel like law of attraction is what's up, then we kind of have to second guess how we think and do things. And yeah, it could totally result in people being like, why are they acting different, right? Like, I was at a wedding last weekend where everybody was crying over Roe versus Wade. And I get it. I get that they're upset. I get that they're worried. I get that. But I also know that the problem had an energy and a big tidal wave crashed on them. And now they have that energy. And now they are perpetuating that energy. And so when you start trying to fight for causes with the energy of the problem, you actually only grow the problem. So it's kind of this funny thing that happens, right? But we have to actually have a 9-minute video on YouTube. Let me grab that for you. Specifically talking about Roe versus Wade. Let me get down there. So watch this, because it's going to be it's going to also apply to exactly what you are asking about right now, right? Which is,
Mhm.
we can have problems if, like, okay, so everybody thinks the other side created this, right? The other side did this stuff and now this is what's happening. But let's be real, it's not like everything was perfect a month ago, right? Like it's not like the societal roles and everything, blah blah blah. Like it's not like everybody like a month ago was like, this is perfect, right? So there's a solid chance that the people who are very upset over Roe versus Wade actually manifested it. And I know this is going to sound hard to believe, but if you want something better really badly, sometimes you manifest a problem that in solving it creates the solution to your actual desire. So sometimes you have to have that contrast. You have to have these like big things in order to finally do bigger change. So I only mention that as a way to relax a little bit and realize that we're not victims of other people. We are creators of energy and can own that 100% of the time, even when things don't look like they're our fault. Have you guys ever had relationships where your partner just seems like they've done like 1,000 things that were like crappy and like you really don't think any of it had to do with you? Have you ever experienced that? With law of attraction, we have to come to terms with somehow I am a vibrational match to this. And I know none of it was my fault. I know I didn't do those things. However, I am here. I am experiencing it. So what is the piece in me that is a match to this? And we can start there. So I honor you and thank you for asking this question because I feel like this was a good discussion and I think you're going to enjoy this. I think you're going to find even more relief in this YouTube I just posted.
Thank you very, very much for this, and yeah, for all of these meetings are wonderful. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. It was awesome.